When are you going to realize that you're smarter than your parents? She asked. She being my therapist, Dr. Wilson. She was sitting in a big, what I would call a living room chair. The kind of chairs that aren't exactly recliners. I guess they're accent chairs. It was olive green, or honestly, maybe it was gray. The walls were a soft, yellowish beige, like something you'd see in a model home in 2005. The whole room felt outdated, like it had been decorated when flip phones were still a thing and no one ever bothered to update it. Cozy, but stuck in time. I was on the couch in front of her. It may have been red or multicolored or also green. I truly have no memory of it. In fact, I don't have too much memory of that office at all, other than the color of the walls. It was 2015 or 2016. It couldn't have been much later than that because I was in law school still. I had used all 8 of my free therapy sessions provided to me by my university, and she was the first ever private practice psychologist that I was seeing. She was my favorite type of person, someone who holds herself with confidence, unwavering in her convictions, in charge of every room she's in. At the first Pride event I ever went to, Pride Parade in Knoxville, Tennessee, I saw her. She gave me a big hug and kept moving. She does all of this, confronts all of these truths, walks with this confidence, but she maintains her warmth, her sweetness. It never detracts from her power. This combination, intense but warm, often shows up in this kind of question, the kind that hits you so hard your chest hurts. When are you going to realize that you're smarter than your parents? I'd just been talking about how I so often got bogged down in their opinion of me. I had come out to them at the time, but I was dealing with the very real possibility of never speaking to them again. And I had no idea what to do. I had no compass, if not their approval. And now, 10 years later, I return to that moment, almost daily, at the very least, weekly. It changed my brain chemistry. It changed how I process things, how I understand the world around me, how I understand the world inside my head. My head is often not that nice to me. That's not solely my parents' fault, though. I do want to be clear about that. I never seek to shift blame onto anyone else, and that has never been part of my therapy and never will be. But part of my growth has been recognizing the effects of my childhood, recognizing when the instincts I developed, for better or for worse, are taking too much control. Because it was through that question that I realized something very important. Every single part of my world, past, present, and future, was put in the context of how my parents would see it, if they would approve of it, if they would bless it, if they would like it, if they would like me. I slowly began to realize that despite my best efforts to discover myself separately from them, I only ever was able to define myself by them. What TV shows I liked, what music I listened to, what foods I ate were all defined by my parents. Now, I think all children do this. It's not hard to understand how a parent, whether intentionally or not, establishes their child's worldview. In fact, it's probably a good thing. Education and storytelling are what created humanity. In fact, it's all we are in reality. Our culture, our norms, our thoughts about things, our judgment of things, they're all established for us by the people who brought us into the world. Whether it happened by chance or intention, our parents define who we are, what is possible, what is good. But how long does that last? Or rather, how long should it last? Should it be at 18 when we discover a new world? Should it be at 21 when we finally step into ourselves? Is there some magical moment, some aha when it all clicks? I don't think there is, unless you have a Dr. Wilson. When are you going to realize that you're smarter than your parents? What she did by asking that was call me out. Not in a humiliating way, but in a hey, you're in there, right? Way. A hey, maybe you should recognize that you know things way. When I finally wrapped my head around the question, I met it with resistance, and frankly, I met it with indignation. I felt the need to defend my parents, to tell her, no, they do know. They've been through so much. They have learned so many lessons. I'm supposed to learn from them. I felt the need to say, they know better. But the words tasted bitter when I said it, almost gritty. They spilled out, and before I could finish, she interrupted me again. Do they? She said. Had they ever been a gay man living in Knoxville going to law school? I started to speak. She put her finger up, not in a rude way, just as if to shush me, and I shushed. You're the only one who knows you, she said, and you've learned enough about life now. Would you go up to a random 50-year-old and ask them how to make better decisions for your life? Would you expect them, who know nothing about your inner world, to give you accurate guidance? I couldn't even respond. I tried to speak, I tried to counter the argument because, in some odd way, it felt like betrayal. I felt the need to defend my parents again, but I couldn't because she was right. This had nothing to do with them. This had everything to do with me. Maybe they made me feel this way, maybe they didn't. There were some abusive dynamics in my family, so I don't ever really know what was real and what wasn't. But in that moment, and in this one now, I recognize that I know better than them. I know better than anyone who I am. I am the expert on myself. I know what's best for me, or at least I think I do. And even if I don't know for sure, there's no possible way anyone else in the world could know more than me. There's no one with the experience, the knowledge, the understanding of who I am, what I have been through, and who I will one day become. 10 years ago, my therapist brought my world crashing down around me. It was destabilizing. It was difficult. It was so thoroughly important and needed because I am smarter than my parents.